Hey guys, Bluebridge here, and today's video I'll be talking Enzo Maresca and how his job is safe for another season at least. Also, I'm going to be talking about other Chelsea briefings that we heard about today. So let's get into it, guys. So guys, haven't been around a lot this week, been quite busy. So making around that video of all the news that's been going on at Chelsea. And the first thing that came out today is that Enzo Maresca's job is safe. The club has been briefing that no matter where we finish. So if we don't finish top four, if we don't win the Conference League, his job is safe. That's what's coming out. But we did hear the same thing about other managers before, like Graham Potter and people like that. And they lost their jobs afterwards. So how do you feel about that, guys? Because I know a lot of people don't like his style of football. And there's another side who feel that he deserves another season. They don't want to be doing all this hiring and firing. You know, it doesn't bother me either way, to be honest. I'm not one who's going to cry if he stays or if he goes. I wouldn't be bothered, you know. I've seen some good things from him and I've seen some not so good things from him. And I do agree that this constant hiring and firing of managers, is it a good idea? You know, second season, back in with a bit of experience and see how we gets on. This year we've had a few injuries, but they're saying that this year we've had a few injuries, but we had a few injuries last year on the Pots as well. So that wasn't used as an excuse for him. But the reason they said that Poch went is because he was on a shorter contract, and they did a review after the first year, deemed he wasn't good enough, and because they've put Maresca on a 5-year contract, their review is going to be after 2 years. So no matter what he does this season, his review will be after 2 years. It'll be interesting to see if we start the season like we are. I just said ending like we had. If we had to start the season like the period we had over the Christmas, is he going to remain or are they going to press that button? So he needs to get a good start. He needs to show improvement this season. And I think that narrative about we'll improve because we were in the top four for most of the season, I think that's probably come from the board, because they're repeating the same thing what Enzo Maresca has said. I don't see it as an improvement, to be quite honest, if we finish the same position as last season. If we finish 6th, this or 7th, how's that an improvement on last season? Okay, the points tally may be better. We're on the same points as we were last season, but for me, if we finish in the same position, that's not an improvement. That's just the same as what we did last year. So for me, it's just more of the same. So, but there's a couple of things that were said, and it's quite interesting that Maresca a couple of days ago has said the same thing what Pop said about wanting experience. How many managers have got to say that? Frank Lampard said, I think sure Graham Potter said, Graham Potter had a few experienced players when he was at the club, but he had too many players. That was his issue. But there is that lack of experience and lack of leadership. And now, hey presto, they're saying, guess what? I think we lack a bit of leadership in the team. I could tell you that ages ago. It's only now that they're figuring that out. So Santos coming back. I know he's young, but he's already showing some leadership qualities. So hopefully there. And I'm not sure who. That's the thing with data, as I said before as well, where you can see all the stats of the person, their passing percentile, their tackling, their heading, but does it show you the intangibles, like what their character is like, what their leadership qualities are like, and everything else? That does the data show up all that information as well? So. And they said if the right player comes along, even though he's going to be outside of that age bracket and he can offer a bit of experience, then we'll consider him. But you know what's going to happen, don't you? Because they are going to say, oh, the right player didn't come along. We did look, but there wasn't anyone who's suitable in the market. So they're going to end up buying these 12-year-olds as they always do. And because the other thing is, the reason why I don't quite believe what they're saying is they say the reason that we only went with Nicholas Jackson was because they looked in the market and there was no suitable striker available. And they acknowledged the fact that, okay, if we had another striker who could score goals, then we would be higher up the table and we'll be comfortably in top four. Ooh, duh. Again, come on. It's not rocket science. We all knew that. And that's why I was so annoyed over the January window, because that's when I knew that the club weren't serious, when they didn't go out and even attempt to buy somebody, as I said before, even on loan, get somebody to take us over the line, and then you go for your number one target afterwards. And they fumbled the bag with Osimhen. They knew we need a new striker. They wouldn't meet Osimhen's demands, and it's going to come to that. If you're going to get a top-notch stellar striker, you're going to have to pay stellar wages. And we've got to not be so rigid when it comes to the transfer market. If we're going to get one or two people who are going to difference makers, needle movers as some people call them, then we need to pay big for them, big wages. The transfers fees, we haven't got an issue with paying big, but we need to pay a couple of players big wages. And I'm sure that if we're getting top four, if we're getting winning trophies and everything else, some of the other players are not going to moan. Every club have got a hierarchy where some are paid more than others. Look at Liverpool, the likes of your Mo Salahs and your Van Dijks get paid more. Why? Because they are vital to the team. Yeah, okay, it may push up the salaries of some of our other players like Cole Palmer and everything else, but if we're doing well, they're going to get more money anyway. They'll get a pay rise because it's performance-based. And so if we are playing Champions League football, if we are winning honours, then their pay rise goes up as well. So if someone can come in to score the goals and to stop the goals from leaking the other side, that means that we're going to be more competitive. That means that we're going to be winning honours and everyone's happy. So if we don't go out and get those stellar players and we just keep buying promise, then it's going to be more of the same thing next season. And we obviously we're not getting Houston anymore. He's Real Madrid bound, and some of the alternatives, Gui is looked at as an alternative defender. I think Braithwaite and some others are being talked about as well. The striking options, the briefing is, we're still looking at Osimhen. We want to meet him on wages and see whether we can agree on that. Or we're still looking at Guy Kuris. I think he's probably Arsenal bound. If you ask me, I think that's what's going to happen. But we'll probably end up with someone like a Benjamin Sesko or what's his name, Ntiki or whatever his name is. I like Benjamin Sesko. I think he's a decent player, but again, we are buying potential. We're not buying the finished article. So we need somebody who's a finished article, as well as somebody who's got potential or promise. And we may even get two strikers. There's talk of Pedro from Brighton as well, because it's kind of making sense now, because some of the briefings coming out is that we'll be open to listen to offers for Nicholas Jackson. There's a few clubs who are interested in him. So if we do let Jackson go, then that means two strikers coming in. For one, if we can get somebody who's good and experienced, I'll keep Jackson, because there's a bit of promise in his game. He just needs a bit of help from me. I've always said that, but I do like aspects of his game. So I would like to keep him and just get in somebody to help him along the way. But I don't know what the club are thinking, because it's just pure briefings left, right and centre. We're named Charity FC. We're probably going to be called Briefings FC as well, with all the briefs that are coming out. So I don't know what's what, because we've been briefed about Houston all summer, and he ends up at Real Madrid. Who else is going to end up somewhere else? Don't know. And the last story was the Andre Santos. Some journalists, I don't know where they're getting the news from, is that Arsenal and PSG were interested in him. I don't believe that story, but if they did entertain selling Santos, then I definitely know where the owners are at, profit making and nothing about making us successful, because we cannot get rid of this boy. So, but I don't believe that story. So guys, plenty of stories to unpick today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to be notified every time I make a new video. So take care. Bye-bye.